Doom has finally come to Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Hello guys and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode we are taking a look at DoomZ, the newest archetype within the Medius, the pure lore archetype thing that's going on. And it centers around not necessarily Medius specifically, but it has that same kind of mechanic of doing additional things with Medius. So let's take a look at what this is aimed to do. First and foremost, it centers around destroying cards via card effect to generate advantage, something we've seen a bunch. However, it also ties in with equip cards, utilizing the equip cards that it has as well as other such equips in order to generate advantage that way, equipping opponents' monsters as well as part of that gimmick. So all in all, what does the deck aim to do? First and foremost, we are aiming to summon this guy on the opponent's turn, because on summon, he equips another face-up card, or face-up monster on the field to it as an equip spell, and it is a monster negate. And once it negates a monster effect on field or in grave, you can then attach another face-up monster your opponent controls to this card. Fantastic. That is what Drastrius is aimed to do, and it also has some bit of protection. The first time it'd be destroyed, it's not destroyed by battle or card effect. Pretty solid. All in all, that is pretty much our entire strat. There's no real secondary backup strat outside of this for the DoomZed at the moment, so we're basically just trying to force this as best as possible. And the best way to do that is with Drastia, which says you can target a DoomZed card you control and destroy it in order to special summon this card and an equip card from your deck. Then you can equip an equip spell from your deck to this card. Notably, you have to be able to equip something to it, which is why we are playing two of our DoomZed cards here. We cannot equip Living Fossil to it because it's not a proper target, which is why we can't activate that. So do keep that in mind. We're playing two of this. This could, I guess technically speaking, it could be something else, right? It could be, I don't know, some other equip card if you really wanted to. But for the most part, that is the idea, is to just equip these. Also, having a second DoomZed name is very nice. The rest of the deck just facilitates this strategy. Medius gets us the new Power Patron, which then can use the Medius to go into Deactorus and kind of go from there. Also, on top of that, if it gets destroyed, it searches a DoomZed card. Amalth also searches a DoomZed monster. And then on top of that, if that's on normal, special, or destruction via card effect, it does all of that. On top of that, both Amalth and Elara have the ability where if they are equipped, they can tag out into the same rank as their level, so they can go into a Deactorus. On top of that, Amalth has the effect on normal, special, or destruction to set a DoomZed spell trap, which is pretty nice. All in all, that is what the deck has to offer. The spell traps are actually pretty solid. Change just pops a card from deck, which is pretty cool. On top of that, if it's destroyed, you can add another DoomZed from grave in order to add it to your hand, and then you can special summon a DoomZed monster from hand, which is pretty solid. So you can like reborn a guy, kind of. Then we also have DoomZed Raiders, which during the main phase, you pop another DoomZed in order to add to your hand or special summon a DoomZed monster from your deck. And then on top of that, you are locked into Xyz. That does matter. It comes up quite a lot, which is why we're playing no Link monsters. That's pretty much it. On top of that, we can also destroy, or if this card is destroyed, you can target a face-up monster on the field and destroy it. However, this is a once per turn effect, which means you can only use one effect per turn, which is frustrating. The change is not that way, so keep that in mind. We also have the Doomderg, which when equipped to or attached as material, it protects your monsters from targeting, and on top of that, once per turn, they can activate the effect to destroy one other face-up card you control and gain attack equal to that card's level / rank. However, it can also attack directly, and if it battles, it's destroyed at the end of the damage step. So it's kind of interesting. The idea is that alongside the Drastrius, you then have the ability to pop and boost, which is pretty nice. So it gets over that 3,000 threshold. It goes up to 35. That's the general idea of that. And then we have one other card, which is the trap card Destruction, which says you can equip it to a DoomZed Xyz as an equip spell, and while it is equipped, it basically is just roll. Your opponent can only draw cards from their main deck. They can't add them. And then on top of that, if it's destroyed, you can target a face-up monster on the field and equip a DoomZed monster from your deck to it as an equip spell. That one's okay. It's not great, but it does come up occasionally. And then as for the rest of the cards here, it's a bunch of hand traps. However, I did have 2 different variants. I tried to play Board Breaker, but I haven't decided which one's better. This does allow us to play Small World, so we're playing 2 Small World as a smaller package, and a bunch of Small World targets as well. We're playing DD Crow as a way to get into Darks for Small World. We have Droll and Lockbird, we have Fool Loss, we have Ash Blossom, we have Ghost Bell in here for kicks and giggles mostly, and then 2 Nibiru as well. And then we're also playing Super Polymerization and a whole bunch of targets for it, and then the Called by the Grave. As for super poly targets, we were playing Mud Dragon, Garura, the Adaganister, and the Triff Overtum. To be fair, you should also probably be playing the... What is it? Triff Overtum could also be Starving Venom. Either or. I just happened to choose this one. The other one that I was thinking of is Secretarion or Mysterion. Mysterion is probably better in terms of a Draco Tail target, so you could do that as well. We're playing a bunch of Xyz, Emerald, Emerald. This card never came up. To be fair, neither did Redoer. The only one that I ever realistically summoned was Gallant Granite to search out Nibiru. You could also potentially play Tornado Dragon, or Exciton could come up. So there's a few other things there. We're playing 2 Deactorus. We're playing it 2 Drastrius, whatever this is. And then we're playing 1 Jupiter, which is just never... I never summon this card. In order to summon it, you have to... you can Xyz summon it by utilizing a material that has 3 equips attached to it, which is just like nigh impossible. Obviously, its other summoning condition is not exactly possible. However, on Xyz summon, you can equip any number of equip spells from grave to this card as that can equip to it. It gains 3,000 attack while it has an Xyz monster as material, and then once per turn, you can detach material to special summon a DoomZed from your grave, and then you can destroy a card in the field. It's not great. We're also playing Zeus and Typhon and SP Little Knight. Let's hop into the duels and show you how this deck performs. Alrighty, so here is our plan for going first. First and foremost, we did draw Living Fossil. Notably, you can actually search this. This is why we're playing it. You can actually search it after Deactorus gets destroyed, so that is the point of that. So we're going to normal summon the Amalth to grab up the Drastria, which then will lead us to pop it off of the Raiders to grab up the Alara, which sets it the Destruction. We're going to activate the Living Fossil into DD Crow? Okay, that was not at all what I was expecting, but sure. Okay. That's fine. We're going to go for the change here. We're going to pop the DoomZed to grab up another Power Patron. We're going to reveal the Power Patron, reveal the Fua to grab Nibiru. Just figured I'd do that eventually. We're going to pop a card and die to Impulse. Okay, well, that kind of sucks for us. I don't have any. I have Nibiru. That's it. Okay, let's see what my opponent does. And it's Dragoon Turbo. Whoa, don't we all love Dragoon Turbo? I'm a big fan of Dragoon Turbo. What a fun game. Anyway, cool. Yep, out comes the Dark Magicians. Sure. There's that away that goes immediately for this guy. Yep. Soul Servant. Wow. Gaze of Timaeus. They go to combat, playing around Nibiru. I think they miscounted their summons there, but sure. Okay. Coolio. Droll and Lockbird is a card. We're going to start off here to activate the Raiders. Popping the Drastria to grab Amalth. I don't know why I did this. I'm not going to lie. Oh, the reason I was doing this was because I wanted to pop Destruction, but this does say face-up cards, so that's on me. Anyway, we just grabbed the Drastria here. Okay, sure. Activate the effect. Of course. Out comes this guy. Sure. That sucks. Can't really do anything. Anyway, here's Typhon. We're hoping and praying with this Typhon. They're going to activate the Gaze of Timaeus. This is just a mistake, obviously, because they don't go into a second Dragoon. So there's that. Also, this card, because it's light, cannot activate its effect because of Impulse. So they're going to go to combat here and then just not do anything. So that's funny. Now they can't beat Typhon and their card gets banished. Sick. Anyway, we have DoomZed Raiders, and at this point the game is over. Comedy! A comedy, truly a comedy of errors there at the end, but yeah. There you go. Good game. Alrighty, here we are going second, and let's see what we can do. We did draw the super polymerization, but we also don't have any way to start playing the game. Let's see what we can... Oh, dear. Yeah, my opponent is going to take a while here. They're going to do the full yummy combo. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Out comes Mignon into Cupsy. Fantastic. Grab Cookie, grab Marshmallow. I think they pitched Cookie here. Oh, they pitched Lightning Storm. I was like, what? Why are we even playing Lightning Storm? What the hell? Anyway, out comes Martial Metal Marcher. Bring back the guy. Out comes the Cookie. They're going to go for Herald here. I'm like, yeah, okay. I was kind of worried that they would go Elf there in order to go for the Mitsu line, but they didn't. So the Super Poly might actually do something here. Which is pretty nice. They're going to go for the Lollipo. We're going to go for Cookie. They bring back the Cookie and the Marshmallow. Now out comes Elf. Elf for the Lollipo into Moon. That was not at all what any of us were expecting, right? To be fair, I actually don't hate this. However, it appears to be that they're playing Fiendsmith as like a brick, almost. So there you go. This also, right here, them putting this card in defense position, loses them this game. I'm going to tell you right now, this minor decision is what kills them. We're going to activate the DoomZ Raiders, and immediately they go Elf effect. I'm like, fantastic. We now have a target for the Super Polymerization. So we're going to Super Poly into the Mud Dragon here, and hey, look at that. 18 is less than 19. So I get to walk over this guy. Fantastic. I also decided to pitch to the Graveyard to Destruction. I think this is technically the incorrect choice. I think I should have pitched, like, Small World or something. I mean, there wasn't really a great option, so it's fine. We're going to go for the Raiders here. They're going to go for their effect of their Synchro, the Cupsy, I believe. I go for the Called By to target their Snatchy, and of course, they have the Crossout Designator for it, which sucks. I'm going to at least call Dark here so that my cards can't be targeted via the effect of their Yummies, which is cool. We're going to go for the Yamalth here. We're going to activate its effect. They're going to add back the Quick Play spell. I'm going to grab the Alara. I haven't normaled, so out comes Alara. They're then immediately going to go into Cookie. Oh, that's the wrong choice. Why didn't we go Cupsy there? Cupsy obviously is the correct choice there, because guess what? Your activation of Cookie can only book itself. Comedy. They have to book something, so of course they have to book themselves. We go for the change here to grab the Drastria after popping the Power Patron. We're going to pop a card. We're going to go for the Drastia here in order to go into Drastrius, which then equips the Elf. And since I've already gone combat, we have to go for the Gallant Granite to grab up the Nibiru, and then make a AA Zeus. At this point, we pass the turn. Now, it's not a ton, but it is pretty solid. We have a Monster Negation as well as an Equip, which is pretty good. We have the Zeus to wipe the field, and a Nibiru as potential follow-up or field wipe, which is pretty solid. And then also a field can't be targeted, which is pretty solid. They're going to go for the effect of their Lollipo. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'm going to activate the Drastrius here. And I kind of wanted them to do this, because then I could just steal the Snatchy. So I'm like, my Snatchy. Also, I'm going to declare Light here. All of their monsters happen to also be Light, which means that they can't even target their own cards. And because of the fact that this is still material for our monster, I can't be targeted with the Drastrius, and my Zeus now can't be targeted. So that's pretty solid. Yoink the guy here. Their Cookie literally just doesn't activate, which is very funny. Obviously, they still have the Quick Play. They're going to go for the Cupsy here. I'm going to activate my effect here because I did not realize that this was a once per turn. Why the hell would it be a once per turn? It's fine. It doesn't matter. I'm going to attempt to pop a card. They're going to tag out here. They're going to bring back two guys. I'm going to pop the Elf. Going to boost up, and what happened there? Oh, what? Huh? What? Of course. Time limit win. To be fair, I actually don't think we lose that game at all, right? We just Zeus the field at any point there, and they die. If they have a way to potentially threaten something like Zeus there, again, we just nuke the field, and then they don't have anything, right? And then we have the Nibiru Small World combo as follow-up, and we can kind of get back into our into the rest of our lines, which is pretty cool. Alrighty, and here we are going first, but my opponent has elected for me to go first, which means they wanted to go second, which means it's likely something lame. Anyway, this is also the version where I was playing things like Triple Tactics Thrust and more of a board breaker style. I didn't necessarily build a go second deck, but I was just building a deck with board breakers as opposed to hand traps, because the hand traps didn't seem to do a whole lot. So I was like, I think I'd rather just have, like, board breakers. Also, a lot of our cards don't really do anything if we go first. Like, a lot of our interaction requires us to, like, yoink a monster or something of that nature. So I was like, why not just go second? Anyway. Alright, my opponent activates Dark Hole. Tragic, of course. We're gonna go Drastria. I just assume here that they have, like, a droplet or something else of that nature. Something to just prevent me from doing this, like a Widow Anchor. But no, they don't. So out comes Drastrius, and he protects himself once, so that's pretty cool. So we still have that monster negate, but that's kind of it. I don't know. We'll search a card here. We search the Alara. If I don't die, like, we have follow-up, right? And Song of Kaiman. Out comes Pydra. All right. Normal summon the Pydra. Activate its effect. Well, I'm just going to immediately say no and yoink that. Nothing. They got nothing. That's crazy. They even drew the best one of, which, to be fair, had they activated that in battle, I could have died. Because they just go Pydra, and then I don't... Or, not Pydra, Chandra, and then I just die. I can't beat I can't beat Chandra. So, there's that. Anyway, Harpy's Feather Duster for the Imperm. Yeah, Imperm doesn't do anything. I'm untargetable. And at this point, the game is pretty much over. So, we're going to trigger a whole bunch of things. We can go for the Amolth. Amolth can then equip another one of our cards there. Sorry, grab Drastria, which that Drastria special summons itself, equips the guy, go to combat, and then we get a second one of our level 8s there. But we have, like, well over lethal at that point, so yeah, good game. All right, we're back with the deck, and honestly, this deck is pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. It is missing so many cards, and genuinely, the game plan just doesn't compete, right? It's too slow, it's too inconsistent. You're so likely to just not have follow-up, right? That was one of the biggest problems that I had with this deck, is that I would just not have a way to continue playing. Like, I could potentially stop my opponent from playing the game, slow them down enough to where, or like Nibiru, or Zeus, or something of that nature, where they just, like, are left on basically nothing. But my top decks are terrible. Like, yeah, theoretically Amolth or Power Patron kind of do things, but they also absolutely don't by themselves, right? Illaara is probably the only one that actually does something by themselves, and even that is saying something because it also kind of doesn't. So it's just, there's not really a good follow-up card, right? I also was originally playing one of the DoomZeds, which ended up costing me a game that I absolutely could have won had I just played a second one. That was it. And so I played the second one. It comes up a lot where just having that second in rotation for a Drastia, or being able to equip it to something like an Alara or an Amolth to get into something like the Actorus off of that effect is pretty useful. So yeah, just playing the second one is worth it. And it's a lot of stuff like that where it's like, you're playing so many useless cards unless you see them in a combination of very specific cards. So you can't just, like, one card combo like most Yu-Gi-Oh decks, which is fun. It makes it interesting, right? Because every hand matters significantly. Like, each one of your cards matters because of the fact that they are useful in tandem as opposed to in singletons, right? Which is pretty cool, but all in all, it's just not very strong. So, I don't know. I like the playstyle. I like the idea of equipping cards to my monsters to generate effects. I like the idea of a lot of these things. It's just the execution that's a bit clumsy and feels frustrating. That's pretty much it. Yeah. Cool deck, though. Anyway, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did indeed enjoy, a like is very much appreciated. And remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.